Welcome to this episode of what I love and hate about Virgos. And yes, I'm sorry. I should have gotten it out during Virgo season, but I don't know. It just never felt like the right moment. Oh, dear God, this whitener is not working. I need to get another brand. Oh, gosh. Things were never perfect. And the Aquarian in me should know better that it's never going to be perfect, you know? And sometimes when you know you can't do an A, just go for a B so you don't get an F. Now that I got that out of the way, let's start with the wonderful things. What I really love about Virgos is that they're ruled by Mercury. So they tend to be very smart. And me being an Aquarian air sign with a Mercury in Aquarius, I really appreciate people who think and don't tell me you're thinking too much. Stop overthinking, Aquarius, right? Like, this is something I'm never going to hear out of the mouth of a Virgo. And it's a beautiful thing. It's refreshing. As a fellow thinker, I personally feel that a lot of problems in the world could be solved if people would just think things through. It's really that simple. You know, some people are very fond of saying everything happens for a reason. Like, well, yeah, sometimes the reason is your ass didn't think that through. I know you feel me when I say this, Virgo, like I'm preaching to the choir. I can talk to Virgos for hours. In fact, I have. I've just sat there and I've talked face to face over the phone for hours upon hours. Okay, here are some funny things or memorable things that Virgos have said to me. I'll tell you something about a Virgo. We know how to make that money. We know how to enjoy it. Well, that might be why I'm broke too. I am not a virgin. Well, yeah, I mean, of course you're not. Why they say that about us? It's more about being prudent, you know. It's more about how y'all are really like very measured and reserved and modest. It's more about that kind of temperament in your personality. Well, like I said, I'm not a virgin. Did I tell you about this conversation that I had with my male friend? He was telling me that men actually undressed women with their eyes. Can you believe that? Of course men do that. I mean, you didn't know that? Oh, you think that's bad? Oh, get ready for this. Girl, you don't even know how many men you have slept with in their minds. Oh, you just don't. You have no clue. Just stop talking about it right now. I cannot listen to this. Okay, true story. I'm going to tell you about a young Virgo female who I went off on. I was coaching a young Gemini male. He started dating a young Virgo female. And he did everything. She made him jump through so many hoops, you know, to like meet her father, get her father's approval, to date. I mean, my God, all these standards like up to the hilt, okay? And he jumped through all these hoops to be with her. And he met her on Tinder. And then, you know, after he went through all this stuff and he gave her the royal treatment. And then she tried to act like she has no interest in sex whatsoever. And so he started getting really frustrated, of course, because, I mean, why would you be on Tinder, honey? And that's what I told her. I was like, what is your problem? Get a therapist, okay? Because if you just want to be friends, go to Facebook for that. Who goes on Tinder just to be friends? It was just, you know. And I told him, please drop her. Bad. She's a reptile. I'm not trying to throw shade. If this ain't you, it ain't you. But some of these Virgo females are so virginal and prude and uptight, like to a point where, listen, there's a time and a place for everything. But prudeness to me is like at the polar extreme of being promiscuous. Both of them are equally bad. We want to find middle ground, okay? This girl was at this other extreme where it was just tormenting this guy. And I told him, I'm like, listen, the girl is a lizard, get away. And my kids were laughing at me and they said, why are you calling her a lizard? And I said, well, because she doesn't have any teeth. She's not going to really bite him, but she's cold. Where it goes south for me with Virgos. Number one, not a fan of Virgo males or males who have prominent Virgo placements. I met a Leo this last year and he had a moon in Virgo that was completely running the show. And when I met him face to face, he did not at all come across like a Leo. Like nothing about him came across Leo. And I'm like, what's going on here? And then when I looked at his chart, I realized, oh my God, it's the Virgo is running this. And why I don't like it is because, I kid you not, it was just so much persnicketyness, okay? And it's fussy, picky, nitpicky. It's like, when we sat down at the restaurant, he was, in my opinion, being a little bit too much with the wait staff. Like, everything had to be special and particular and all that. I'm like, my God, give these people a break, you know? And I'm not saying all Virgos do that. I'm saying that, right, in different people that expresses itself differently. In him, that's how it came out. And when I was around him, yes, he was generous, very generous towards me. We do have shared interests, but I couldn't help but feel like I was some kind of science experiment, that he was picking me apart. See, this is the gift curse of Virgo, that I think a lot of them get hung up on the curse part and never really break into the gift part, which is, and I say this in my readings, Virgo knows how to deconstruct things, to reconstruct things better than they found them. Unfortunately, you have a lot of Virgos who get caught up in the deconstruction phase. They pick stuff apart, they get persnickety, they hyper focus on the imperfection of this reality, of which there's plenty of that, right? And then they can't hardly, live with themselves. They're the hardest critics of themselves, right? Like, you think they're picking other people apart or life apart or you apart, and they're having trouble coping, living with the imperfection of this reality. How do they even live with themselves? And I think that, like, a lot of times in my readings, I get depression and healing, having to work on healing, emotional issues that come up in the Virgo readings. And I think it's for this reason, because it's like, y'all have to learn, Virgos have to learn to use that ability to deconstruct things and see the flaws in things and the ability to perfect things, but use it in a positive manner, and just don't get eaten up, don't get eaten alive by the things that are flawed, and seeing the beauty in it, seeing the beauty in the imperfection of things. Okay, and full disclosure, my very, very, very first boyfriend, I mean, the serious kind, was a Virgo male. And when I first met him, I thought he was gay. I really did. Because there's this kind of prissy little, I don't know, there's something really prissy about them. I'm probably pissing off the male Virgos here, I'm sorry. But I've got a Juno in Aries, so I really need a masculine male. And that little prissy, persnickety stuff, I can't do it, all right? But obviously I did at some point, okay? True story too, he had a Honda Civic back in the day, and the guy would, like, clean that thing every week on schedule immaculately. I'm pretty sure he pulled out the Q-tips to do the detailing. Another way that I tend to bump heads with Virgos is, I think, with my Pisces stellium, which is opposite. Virgo is very boundaried. Pisces is boundless. So when it starts getting weird and awkward between me and Virgo, it's usually over a conversation a little bit like this. You say we go on and do no. How can we do that? You want to do that instead? No. Is there some way that we could make this happen? I mean, is there something that I could do, like, to kind of work with you? And, like, what could I do what do you need out of me to make this work? No. Okay. Hey, man, that's some cold ass shit. Like, you're not going to explain. You're not going to apologize. I mean, nothing. It's just a flat, cold. I know. No is a complete sentence. I get it. It's kind of like a self-help psychology, note to self. I should try it sometime. But the Pisces in me is like, really? I mean, you just don't care. You just, like, you don't even feel bad. It just drop the gavel on me. No. Like, oh, the Pisces in me could never, like, and yeah, maybe that's my problem. But I have to explain, like, I'm sorry. Because, again, Pisces would be like, oh no, I really do want to do that. It's just right now and this, that, and the other, but maybe later. Or I'd be like, oh no, I'm sorry. I can't do that. And here's why. I'm sorry, I'm just not the person for this. Oh, but I think I might know somebody else who is. Or, hey, I'm sorry, I just can't. Okay, so that's it. I think I've said everything that I want to say about Virgos. Virgos, overall, love you. You're, a fantastic sign. Nobody's perfect, but I think that Virgos are good people to have in your corner. Definitely, if you need to think something through and you need to make a sure-footed decision and you need help setting and maintaining boundaries, good people to have in your corner.